Welcome to our latest project. So this is a 2005 Jeep Grand Cherokee with the 5.7 Hemi. It's got some engine problems, and we're going to see if we can figure them out. It's very low kilometers for the year, about 130,000 kilometers. For our American friends, that's slightly over 80,000 miles, maybe 85-ish. So we're going to dig into this, see if we can figure it out. I suspect it's a timing chain has jumped, so I don't want to turn it over right now, but we're going to pull the coils off, take a look inside the cylinders, and see what we can see. Let's get started. So I'm going to get started by removing this air intake and air box just to get it out of our way. I don't really want to be working around it too much. See what we can see. Ooh, that's in there tight. All right. Get it loosened off. There's a 10 mil bolt in here we got to get at. I already loosened that. Do the clamp here. Okay, that's out of our way. Moving on. Time to get at the coils. Now on this one, I could just pull, actually maybe I will do that. You just pull the one spark plug boot out and take that spark plug out. But I'm going to take this coil off and that boot so you can see what's going on here. What I want to do is I want to be able to put the bore scope down in the cylinder and have a look at what these look like, see if I can see any damage in there. And this thing's turning over, it doesn't quite sound right, and we'll do that a little bit later. For now, let's just get some access, see what's going on. Oh, that's just what we didn't want to do. Come on. Where did that go? I'll crawl under there and get that guy later. Well, next. I'm missing my little rubber cup. Try this again. That one stayed. Okay. Well, that plug looks okay, but what we're looking for, being is what I think is going wrong, is we're looking for mechanical damage. I'll show you what that looks like. Right there you can see a plug, not out of this. It's got mechanical damage on it. You can see the electrode's been banged in. Its gap's been closed. Something's hit this to do that. So that's what we're looking for, is to see if the plugs have any mechanical damage. After we've done that, we'll put the bore scope in there and have a look. I'm going to continue removing a plug from each cylinder, and then we'll get back on this. Got all the plugs out of it. You can see them here. I've labeled each one so I know which came out of what cylinder. So let's see if you can see that. Sure. All right. Now, none of them had any mechanical damage. However, I did find something interesting. Most of these plugs are a Champion plug, but the number 2 cylinder has a different plug. It has an NGK. So I'm going to start by looking in that cylinder because that's a little suspicious that all these would have the same plugs and that one would be different. Okay, we've got the bore scope here. And you can see it's got the little light on it. I'm just going to turn the intensity up a bit. Oh, that's magnification. All right, we're just going to feed that into the cylinder. Some good deposits on it. Can't see much. I'm going to have to turn this engine over. I don't know if you can see that very well. Probably not. I'll see if I can record it, put it on the video. Okay, I've got my 21 mil socket on the crank pulley here. I'm just going to turn it a little bit. Let's see if we can record this at the same time. Try to get that piston down. Oh, that's tight. Yeah, there's something wrong here, I'd say. Okay, I should not have to put that much effort on turning this engine, so there's definitely an issue. That is incredibly tight. Okay, there's something definitely wrong with the engine. I'm gonna have to do some digging, that's for sure. Did get it to move a little bit. That engine is way too tight. Okay, I've run the bore scope down all the cylinders and it's as I suspected. Timing chain must have jumped because I have a few pistons where you can see that the valve has kissed it. See if I can get this one in here. Hopefully you can see that. You can see that mark right on the piston. And that is where the valve hit it. And there's a few cylinders that have that going on. Try the other spark plug hole here. Can't see it too much on that one. So I'm going to keep going into the engine. I suspect we got some bent valves, but we'll have a look. Can't really see it in that hole, but yeah, it's definitely out of time. Oh, there. You can see it pretty good there. So let's see what we can find out. We're gonna probably got some bent valves in here. Okay, I know this has the timing chain issue, so I'm going to show you how to look at that. I'm likely going to end up replacing this engine, but for your benefit, we're going to go ahead and pull the front accessory drive off, get the timing cover off and all that good stuff, and show you what happened and what caused that. So I've already taken the upper rad hose off. We're just going to keep plugging away. Next, I think I'm going to take the belt off. I should really take a picture of this. There we go. It gives me a good idea of how the belt goes. Can figure it out from there. Okay, I've got the fan out of there, and let me tell you, that was a chore. I mean, everything was tangled up and wrapped around, and mostly the power steering pump hoses, but we got it. Gives us lots of room to work in here now. Don't think we'll have to pull the rad out for this part. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get the crank pulley off, I hope. Harmonic balancer. Helps if you put a battery on it. All right, let's try that again. Don't want to come off too far. There we go. Just like that. And we got the bolt out. Now we can get a puller on that and pull that out. Okay, next we're gonna take the balancer off. Now they do have a special tool for this. I don't have it. I have had some success using 3-jaw pullers. You just gotta be careful how you get them on there, and you have to take the one arm off to wiggle it in there and then put it back on. And we'll just give it a couple cranks here. That's definitely coming. And push on the bolt. Put the bolt in quite a few threads. Push on that. Don't push on the cranks now. So the crank. Go again a little bit. Not much tension on it now, so it'll come off a lot easier. So give that arm a twist, pull it out. Pull these other ones up. There we go. Pull these out, take the center bolt out. That thing's loose enough that we should be able to wiggle it off now. Okay, it's not quite loose enough, so what we're going to do is we're going to take one of the long bolts from our balancer install kit, which you do need to put these back on. Do not try to do this with the crank bolt. You'll wreck your crank bolt. You'll possibly wreck your crank. So we're just going to take that long stud, put it in there so it bottoms out against the crank. We're going to take our tool and we're going to put it back on. Honestly, this used to be the hardest part of this job for me, but once you get the knack of it, it's not too bad. Sometimes they're a little stubborn and you have to go to a bigger puller, but mine's pretty worn out. Doesn't work so good anymore, but it's getting the job done today. It's just gonna come off, aren't you? Yep. Come on. Just be on there for a little bit. You can be friends. This is why I like using the crank bolt at first, because it keeps the pulleys centered. Puller centered, sorry. There it is. There we have it. Now we're going to start getting the timing cover off. Okay, also remember you're going to have to take off, I think it's 5 bolts on the bottom of the oil pan here. So you're going to have to take those off, and we're going to have to go around and get the timing cover bolts out. But that's it. We're pretty close to getting this timing cover off, so I'm going to get started on the bolts down here. Looks like we lost power steering bolt. Put that back in there. Okay, I believe those are 10 mil for the oil pans. Oh yeah, so we're gonna have to take the air conditioning compressor off too. Forgot about that. So after I get these oil pan bolts off, we'll do that next. Make sure we undo our coolant line over here. By the way, you can tell if you get the right bolts because they're long. Any short ones that come out, they're just holding the water pump on. Okay, I think we have them all. Let's just give it a little pry. Okay, so I did miss a bolt. I pulled the water pump off so you could see it a little bit better. Let's get the camera off the stand and show it to you. And we can see it down, it's right down here. I must have missed one. Don't come off right there. So it sits below the water pump and I missed it. Interesting. So this doesn't have slack on the timing chain like I thought it might. Let's get the other light in there so you can see a little bit better. There we go. You can see that these slides are sometimes what fails, causes the timing to go out of place. They seem to be okay. I'll take a closer look in a minute. So next guess is maybe someone tried to do some work on this, change the cam or something. They didn't get the timing right. I'll go through and I'll check that. We'll make sure our timing marks are lined up.